do the thing that lights you up. Because when you do the thing that lights you up, it gives you the energy to do the thing that does. You have to know yourself. You have to know what your particular superpowers are. Every single step you take adds life. And you are the one who's responsible for looking back on your life and going, look at what I've done. Look at how far I've come. Look at every single step I've taken to get here. Those steps come one step at a time. They say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. That's exactly how you end up in a life that looks like you've accomplished everything, is you do it one piece at a time. When you are at full capacity, you can do anything. Showing yourself that you matter, that sets the stage. That sets the tone for all of your creative pursuits, for your brain to just function at top notch. Be careful with the words that you tell yourself. Your brain is incredible. It has so much power, so much creativity, so much ability to solve problems. The more that you spend time getting to know yourself, the more you're going to love yourself. Enjoy the now. Enjoy what you've already created for yourself.
Get ready to love everything I am. All I want to be and understand. 'Cause I won't dim my light for no one.
They told me I had to pick one thing. No. Diamonds are multifaceted, and so are we. It's about time we let all the parts of us shine. How can we climb out of the box and fully embrace our own authenticity? I'm Kara Lee, and it's time for the Multi-Passionate Mama podcast, where clarity and creativity go hand in hand. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Multi-Passionate Mama podcast. Today, I'm going to really deep dive into the question that I get asked the most often, which is, how do you do it, Kara Lee? How do you do it all? How do you, as a multi-passionate mama, have the time and the energy and the capacity to, pursue all these ideas, to pursue all these passions and these dreams, and to accomplish so much? So that's the topic of today's solo episode. And I have a lot to share with you on this because from an outside perspective, it's easy to look at my life and think that I just am magical and have more time and more energy than everybody else. And the truth is that I don't. I am a human being, just like everybody else. I have limited stores of energy. I have limited capacity. I will say that I am a very, very highly motivated individual. That is one particular skill set, feature of my personality that I have. I'm really motivated, and when I want to do something or accomplish something, I am very good at making it happen. So the first thing I want to say is that you have to know yourself. You have to know what your particular superpowers are and really deep dive and schedule your life and formulate what you're doing around your particular skill sets. So this can take some time to unravel what it is that you're really, really good at, and then also to uncover the things that you're not really, really good at that you can hand off to other people. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm really, really good at breaking down complex ideas and then turning around and creating something and building them back up. I'm good at explaining ideas. I'm good at making things because I can understand the building blocks of the creation phase. Hopefully that made sense. I'm good at understanding how things are, how they come together, how they're formulated. And that's just how my brain works. Now, you should know that everybody has different strengths. I don't have the same strengths that everybody else does. You have to really begin to start understanding what your particular strengths are. One of the ways that I started understanding what my strengths were was I started learning about human design. And that really helped me to go, oh my gosh, that really is me. That really is where I have a superpower, and that's really where I don't. I don't have long-term capacity to just keep going and going and going with something. I'm really good at short-term projects. And that was one of the things that human design really clarified for me. And it was something that I always knew about. But when I had that kind of in writing, I was like, oh, I see it now. It helped me to really understand that in a more visceral way. So I love human design for helping it really clarify what exactly my superpowers are. So if that's something that you're struggling with, look into that. It can be helpful, and I'm always happy to help you interpret that and understand it on a deeper level. But it helps to go through your life and go, what are the ways in which I have been able to solve the problems that I've been confronted with? How does my brain operate in ways that other people's do not? And you can start to distinguish, like, where is your flow and where is it not? I have found that, like, my husband's able to really deep dive into specific topics and really go deep on nuances, and I'm not. I have a really hard time caring about just specific topics, but I'm really good at organizing whatever is handed to me. I don't really care so much about the topic that's handed to me, but I really can organize. I'm really, really good at organization. If you've ever read the book, The Great Leap, is that what it's called? By Gay Hendricks. I think it's called The Great Leap. And he talks about your zone of excellence versus your zone of genius. That's a really great metaphor for understanding, the way that you might be currently operating versus the way that you want to operate. And again, I relate this back to human design because I've been able to see that, like, oh, my zone of excellence is organization. I'm really good at deconstructing ideas. And then that's what I tend to get paid for, is I tend to deconstruct people's podcasts and then build back up and put them back into reels. And I do that as I'm teaching, as I'm deconstructing, a really long 2-hour lecture, and then I'm organizing it into a structured thing that builds on topics, those kind of things. I'm really, really good at organization. And this is something that I've been doing my whole life. I've done that as a mom, as I have helped my kids even just like clean their rooms. Like, how do you clean a room in a really structured, organized way? Okay, the first thing you do is that you separate everything in, well, first of all, the very first thing you do is you shove everything into one big pile so that the rest of your room looks clean and you feel like you've made some progress. But then you organize them into categories. You shove all the clothes in one pile, you shove all the shoes in the next. You see how I break that down? And then you can easily just go put all the shoes where they go. And that's how my brain operates organizationally. But my zone of genius is the creative problem solving that kind of builds on that organizational foundation. So I'm mentioning all this because when you have that foundational understanding of, here's how my brain operates, here's where I really thrive, here's what I'm really good at, you can structure your life around doing life that way. And then you're faster at whatever you're doing, and you begin to do the things that fit that way, and you begin to, delegate out the tasks that are not in your zone of genius. So I hate cooking. I like cooking and the cleaning and the like scrubbing type stuff. Like, I find those really monotonous and annoying. I find them very hamster wheelie, like, blah. They're not. The organizational process of like organizing the kitchen and organizing the clothes and organizing the home, those parts of motherhood and task maintenance come really naturally and easily to me, and they work really well. But my husband does a lot better at the cooking because he finds it really creative and fulfilling to cook a fun meal and see how everyone likes it. I hate cooking. So even though I do actually cook fairly regularly, he really enjoys it. So as often as possible, he gets to do that part, and it works really well for our relationship. When it comes to household chores, I'm always the one who is organizing the clothes because we've got uniforms and we've got winter clothes and we've got summer clothes and we've got, there's so many types of clothes in a household that I'm the one who's doing the organization and what goes in which box and what comes out what time of year. There's a lot of organization in motherhood and like how a household runs. But when it comes to like scrubbing the toilets and sweeping the floor, like those are really great jobs for the kids and for my husband. And sometimes I'm doing them, but those are the ones that are great to delegate out because they're not where I really thrive. And they're not where my husband and kids thrive either. They're like, give me a 5-minute task to just get done and check off the list. And I feel like I've accomplished something. So number one is like know yourself. And I think every single one of the things I'm going to mention today comes back to know yourself. When you know yourself and you know what you're really good at, you kind of just get stuff done faster. You're able to move through life at a faster speed and get to the things that you want to do quicker, because it's not like organizing clothes is the top priority of my life. It's not like I'm like, hooray, that's my zone of genius. That's not what lights me up. It's part of motherhood, it's part of household duties, and like organizing the grocery list and things like that. But because I'm doing things that do light me up and have begun to look at those other tasks from the perspective of, oh, I'm really good at this. Like I'm viewing them from the lens of how I operate. I'm doing these tasks because I can see them from the organizational perspective. That is how I thrive. That is how I can really do well and serve to my best capacity. It helps me to just do them more freely and to do them in the best way I can. And it helps to alleviate some of the bitterness that would come from, doing something that is not my favorite activity. So the second one I want to talk about is do the thing that lights you up. Because when you do the thing that lights you up, it gives you the energy to do the thing that doesn't. So like I was saying, the household organizational tasks that are part of just existing as a human, but they're especially relevant when you're a mom and you're running a household. Those are just part of life, right? We have to eat, we have to clean our homes, we've got to wear clothes, right? We've got to do laundry. We have to do all of these things to, exist in this world and survive. And when you're a mom, you have tenfold somehow, even if there's only 5 of us, right? We tend to have so much more. So when you take the time to do the things and prioritize the things that light you up, those things bring you energy. So that when you turn and you go, okay, now it's time to go grocery shopping. Now it's time to go do the thing that is not the top of my, favorite list. You have the energy to do so because you've done the thing that lit you up first. So then you have to ask yourself, what lights you up? What is it that you can do in your day that will give you the biggest smile? And you can see it on my face if you're watching the video or anything. And you can also hear it in my voice. When I talk about doing what lights you up, my whole face lights up. Podcasting lights me up. Talking to people lights me up. All of these things. And within anything you do that lights you up, there's going to be elements of it that doesn't, right? Like I'm Toastmasters president and I love speaking to people. I love being on stage and having that back and forth with an audience and being able to, it feels like bearing my soul. It feels like being all of me on stage. And there's elements of it where I'm like, okay, this is a little scary, and I'm learning how to be more authentic. And then there's parts of being Toastmasters president where I'm like, this is organizational again. But because I'm viewing it as organizational instead of like grunt work, I'm like, okay, that's actually a skill of mine. I'm actually really good at that. Okay, I got this. And then I can go, oh, I see why I'm here. I can see how this works for me and how I'm using a skill I have to serve people instead of, and when you flip it into the service category, it takes you out of bitterness. And that is so key, because being in bitterness does not help anybody. It is going to drag you right on down. And we want to flip out of that bitterness category because it's just not helpful. When you are in bitterness, it's because you are not taking good enough care of yourself. That is the ultimate truth here. If you are feeling bitter, it is because you are not doing enough to care for you. It is not because anyone else is doing something to you, because only you get to control what you are doing with your life. So, what are you doing that lights you up in your day? And this can be, pursuing your passions, like I'm talking about doing my podcast and speaking, and writing music lights me up, because when I write songs, they will be stuck in my head for days or weeks, and then I'll be singing those songs while I'm doing things like making dinner and cleaning and organizing stuff, right? Or driving my kids around all day. I spend a lot of time driving. So when I'm doing something that lights me up, it tends to last throughout my day. Even if I've only spent a little bit of time doing it, it has a lasting energetic effect. And it can be productive. Like doing the thing that lights you up can be something that feels productive. Like to me, writing a song, it can feel productive, or writing a speech, because I've made a goal that I'm reaching towards with my speech or my music. But it can also be something that's just not productive, because somehow not being productive is also productive. And listen, because I will explain this. Taking a nap. How much better do you feel for the whole rest of your day when you have taken like a 15-minute little power nap, or even like I literally just finished like a 45-minute nap? Feels so much better. And yes, there are those times when you take a nap and you feel worse. I know that happens. I really do. And that is really just your body telling you that it needs more sleep. It's just an indication that you needed more, right? But I can also tell you that like I went to the movies, and going to the movies by myself is one of the greatest pleasures, because I have been realizing that when I go to the movies with my family, I have this overwhelming pressure to like make sure that they're enjoying the movie, and then I don't enjoy the movie as much because I'm trying to make sure that they're not disrupting people, and that they like the movie, and that they're not throwing popcorn all over, and they're not fighting, and that there's all these things, right? So then I started going to the movies by myself, and it was like I'm not multitasking. I can't multitast because I'm just sitting in the theater and it's dark and I can't do anything else. And it's the most amazing feeling to just get to get to sit there and exist and soak in this movie. And I tell you what, the last time I went to the movies, when I left, I had the hugest smile on my face. And it lasted. It wasn't something that just disappeared. It wasn't a big fat waste of time. I just felt so much lighter when I left. I felt incredibly amazing when I left that movie. That's productive self-care. Self-care is only self-care if you actually feel better when you're done with it. So that's important. So when you do what lights you up, it's about the light. It's about feeling better. And yeah, it can be productive. Like I have goals about my music, and I have goals about speaking. It's because those things light me up, right? They give me the energy that I need to go spend 3 hours driving my kids around, which happens a lot. Hey, it's Carolee Garrison. I'm thrilled to be teaming up with the incredible Siri Baruch Thornton, a seasoned expert in healing, creativity, and transformational practices. Podcasting has transformed my life and allowed me the opportunity to create the impact I have always dreamed of. Now, Siri and I are excited to help you take your vision to the next level with our Vision to Impact podcasting course. You'll learn how to share your ideas with the world in a fun, creative, passionate community. It's time to master your storytelling and interview skills, create a memorable brand, and explore a myriad of growth opportunities, both in influence and revenue. Siri has spent over 26 years empowering individuals through her unique blend of Reiki, Akashic record readings, and breath work. Her passion for storytelling and authentic expression has not only transformed her life, but has also inspired countless others to embrace their unique voice. I'm an award-winning podcaster who is deeply passionate about showing up real, inspiring thousands to upgrade their self-worth, and encouraging momentum even when it's messy. My philosophy is that the more you know yourself, the more you love yourself. I have 2 podcasts, 3 kids, a million dreams, and I specialize in showing you how to make podcasting work for you, no matter how busy you are. With our combined wealth of knowledge, we are eager to guide a new group of visionaries into the incredible world of podcasting. We know just how important it is for every voice to be heard. We start October 16th, and we cannot wait for you to step into your power and finally be seen. Podcasting has changed my life. Are you ready for it to change yours? Join us now. So, the next thing was number 3 is do one thing at a time. I'm a chronic multitasker. I multitask. It's a problem, actually. But when I'm really, really trying to accomplish something, I'm very, very single-minded. When I'm writing a song, I am in it. I am task-oriented, getting it done. I'm very much a short-term project. Like, I will be focused on getting that song done until it's done. And I'm usually like a one-day kind of project person. Like, I'm like, let's focus in on getting this done. Now, you have to understand how your energy works. And if you are not a one-day project kind of person, like, understand how you operate first and foremost. Don't try to force yourself to be me. But what I'm saying is, this could be beneficial to know, like, focus on your one project until it's done and then move on to your next. Like, I'm not sitting here like, when you get really scattered, it can be easy to feel like you're accomplishing nothing. But when you get that one thing done, and then that one thing done, and then that one thing done, and you focus on them one at a time, it's easy individually, like as one human, to feel like you're only taking one step at a time. But the truth is that those steps add up. They add up to a full completed album. They add up to 220 whatever episodes of a podcast over time. They add up. Every single step you take adds up. And you are the one who's responsible for looking back on your life and going, look at what I've done. Look at how far I've come. Look at every single step I've taken to get here. Those steps come one step at a time. They say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. That's exactly how you end up in a life that looks like you've accomplished everything, is you do it one piece at a time. That's why my life looks the way it does, is because at one point in time I was creating my album. Right now, that album is done. I finished it, and I'm not doing it right now. Right now, I'm teaching, and I'm doing other things. And it helps to know that, like, yes, right now in this moment, I'm doing a lot of things, and I usually am. But I'm not doing them all at once. And this is like the 4th thing I was going to say, was that, like you, I have limited capacity. I have limited time. I do have 3 kids with special needs, and they do take lots of time and energy that I want to give to them. And sometimes they take energy I don't want to give to them, frequently, often, daily. we've got therapy every afternoon, and I'm often driving them around for hours and hours a day. My point is that I have to work when I have the ability. So right now, I am recording this podcast, and that's all I'm doing. That is the one thing that I am focused on, is recording this podcast. And I will schedule these podcast episodes and interviews, and I will spend that block of time just doing that, giving it my full attention. That's one of the most beautiful things about podcasting, by the way, is that when you're in an interview with somebody, you're just talking to them. You're giving them your full attention, and you're not trying to multitask and do other things at the same time. And we all need more of that in our lives, where we're just like putting everything else aside and just doing that. When I'm at Toastmasters, I'm just doing that. So let's see. Let's talk about all the things I'm doing for 1 second, and then we can kind of have a list going. I am doing my podcast, Multi-Passionate Mama Podcast, which is going on 3 years now. The month of October is the month that was 3 years ago, was when the trailer was first released, when it was Seeking Sunshine. So going on 3 years now. So the podcast, we've got a couple episodes a week, and then I am Toastmasters president. What else? I am teaching makeup and makeup for theater at BYU, and that has been taking up a lot of time. And when I am there, I'm there. Like, I'm fully in. When I'm at Toastmasters, I'm there. I'm fully in. When I am in that classroom, I am fully present. I'm fully there. Yes, every so often I get calls from the school nurses saying my kid hurt himself again. That's almost daily. And I will usually glance at the voicemail and make sure no one died. But no, and so far that has not happened. Everyone's safe and good, and my kids hurt themselves a lot. One in particular. They're fine. Everything's good. And I am just double checking to make sure it's not like a true emergency. And usually the school nurse is like, everyone's fine. It's fine. You don't need to call back. Life as a, mom tends to have a tiny bit of multitasking involved. But for the most part, I am wholly present. There's always a little piece in my mind that's there with my kids. But anyways, I digress. I'm there. I'm fully present. I'm in it. Right? What else am I doing? I feel like I'm doing so many things. I will admit that sometimes when I'm home with my kids, I'm not totally fully present. I do try my best. When we are in therapy, I'm there, I'm fully present. I do have to spend some time working on my class work and getting my lectures ready at home while they are home. But the point is, like, getting yourself to be fully present in whatever task you're doing while you're doing it. Those are each steps that you're taking that lead up to a full life, right? Those are the things that build up and make it so that you look back and you're like, oh, each of those was a piece of a thing I accomplished. And then you look back and it's like, oh, hey, I did that. Like this morning, and you can always include, like, okay, I did my meditation this morning. I spent my time, I spent my hour doing my hair and my makeup, which is something I do every single morning. And yeah, it gets interrupted a lot, and I'm taking kids to school and so forth. But I take that time for me every morning because it's the foundation of my day. It's the foundation that I'm building my morning and my, activities on, is I care about me, I matter. And I'm showing my family that, I'm showing my kids that the time that I spend in peace, in silence, in caring for my body and caring for my mind and my soul, like, that part of my day is extremely important to me, and it's a non-negotiable. Like, it's happening no matter what. These are all really, really important parts of my day, and I make sure that happens every single morning because I want to make sure that I'm on that that I have that solid foundation built for the rest of my day. But I do have a limited capacity, and I don't always get to do all the things I want to in my day. So I have to look at my calendar and I have to, fit in what's going to fit. Like I try to get a nap in when I'm not feeling well and I need to do that. And that doesn't always happen. I, don't always get music time in as much as I want to. But when I have the ability to, I try really hard to be fully present with my music time when I have it. Like when I'm recording in my studio, like that's my recording time and that's it. Now, when my kids are home, they kind of demand my presence and I don't really get to be fully present with anything else but them because I have a child who's running away and who's trying to go say hi to all the neighbors at their front doors. And so, that's motherhood for you, right? Just point is be present with what you're doing. Be present. Don't miss out on your life because you are trying to multitask everything. Multitasking can look like multitasking can look like doing something that doesn't require a lot of brain power while mentally being present for something else. So if I'm making tortillas while I'm helping my kid with his homework, making tortillas doesn't need my attention, right? But my kid does. There's different ways to multitask in a variety of healthy and not healthy ways, right? You have to know yourself. That's really what it comes down to, is that first thing we talked about is knowing yourself, knowing what you're capable of, knowing your limits, and knowing where you're starting to feel overstressed, knowing what that tightness feels like, knowing what it feels like when you feel safe and how to get back there, how to get back to that feeling of safety and creativity and beauty and feeling love and feeling amazing, how to go back to that feeling of light, of doing that, what lights you up and going, oh, here's my zone of genius. And oh, right now I'm in my zone of excellence, and that's okay because I'm really gifted here too. And just loving all of it, loving life, knowing what you need. This is like, what are we on, like number 5? Giving yourself what you need in the moment. It's this really amazing blend of the masculine and the feminine, the flexibility and the structure. Okay, you have to be able to create the structure in your life of here's ideally, where my strengths are. Here's where I want to fit my calendar, fit all the pieces into my calendar of what works well for me, but then be flexible. Especially as women, we need a little bit more flexibility than men do because we are a little bit more, we have fluid cycles that change. We have, needs that just are not the same. Like we've got to go with whatever kids stuff comes up. If you've got kids, we've got to go with a little bit more flow maybe than men do, right? We have to go with what's happening in the moment. So structure is amazing and it's so important, and it will literally mean that's the foundation, right? We've got the foundation of our day, and you've got to lay that out because it helps you have the strength that you need to get through all the things that are going to come at you. But then you also have to have that flexibility in place so that you can flow with whatever comes at you. So you have to know that, like, if you don't get everything done that you were hoping to get done today, like, you're still safe. You're still okay. And then to understand what is it that you need. And this really comes back to listening to you, listening to your body. Like today, I had 100,000 things to do, but my body was not up for it. My body was like, I'm in a slow phase. I am needing a nap really, really a lot. And so instead of trying to caffeinate up and medicate out the tiredness, I went with the flow and I took a nap because I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to really be creative and really, have the, because there's productivity when you force it, and it's just not as good as the natural creative flow when you are allowing your natural creativity. And if you try to force it and you are, you didn't get enough sleep or your body's just not well and you need like a nap or you need something that you're not giving yourself, if you try to force it, you're not going to get the aligned, beautiful creativity that you're capable of. You're just going to be spinning your wheels. You're not going to be able to get the level that you're capable of getting from yourself if you are going against the grain. So it's incredibly important to listen to your body and give it what it needs in the moment. And, life happens, especially when you've got kids and things happening, and you have to be able to be flexible. I had to change my plans for today. Like, I wanted to record some things and get some music done and all sorts of things. But there was no way I was going to be able to get this podcast recorded if I didn't take care of me first. You have to listen to what your body needs, or your brain just won't be able to operate the way that you need it to, especially at its full capacity. And when you are at full capacity, you can do anything. But if you're sitting here trying to demand more of yourself than you've been giving, it's not fair. It's not fair for you to force your body to do things when you haven't been showing it the love it deserves. You have to do that. You've got to love yourself first and then see how much you're just going to thrive. It's really, really important. And that foundation, like I was just talking about, of showing yourself that you matter, like that sets the stage. That sets the tone for all of your creative pursuits, for your brain to just function at top notch, because you started with peace. You started with, I matter, I'm important. Oh yeah, I can do anything. I can solve any problem that comes my way. I can fix it. And when you start your day with that positive attitude, and I was thinking about this yesterday as we were trying to solve a problem with my husband, and it was, we have two choices in the matter. You can come at the problems that hit you with, I'm just doomed. There's just no way to fix this. I just don't see how it's possible. And your whole brain just kind of shuts down and gives you nothing. Or you can go, wait a minute. I'm so creative. I have this God-given ability to solve problems in the most dynamic, creative way. I just know that I'm going to come up with something incredible. So everything's going to be fine. And I know it. And then if you just allow that to sink in for a minute, your brain will come up with an incredible solution. It will find a way. Your brain will solve the problem you hand to it. And if you tell it there's no way, then that's it. There's no problem to solve because you already decided. So be careful with the words that you tell yourself. Your brain is incredible. It has so much power, so much creativity, so much ability to solve problems. But if you don't give it a problem to solve, and if you decide for it that this is hopeless, then guess that's the truth. Your words have power. So what power are you choosing to give them? If you tell yourself that you're amazing and you can solve any problem, that's what's going to be true. So, what are you deciding is true? And what are you limiting yourself by saying to yourself? You get to decide. It's all a perspective shift. You have to be so careful with what you're saying to yourself, because your body doesn't know the difference and it will just claim it as truth. So making sure that you give yourself what you need and you show yourself so much love, because when you come from a place of love and wholeness, the sky's the limit. You can do it all. But when you come from a place of limitation and a place of degrading yourself, you shut right down and there's no reason to try anymore. So if you want to have that growth mindset, loving yourself is like just the place to be. the place to start. It's the place to come from every morning, every day. And that's where all these come from. The more that you spend time getting to know yourself, the more you're going to love yourself. You're not expected to have every single superpower. You're not expected to be a pro at everything that exists. You're expected to know which areas are your particular superpowers, because we all kind of fit together like the puzzle piece in this world. Some of us have some of us have others, and then we need each other to thrive. That's how we operate in this world, and it's so beautiful. We get to do the things we love. Other people love different things. That thing that you hate doing, that you suck at, don't do it. Let the person who does love it, who does thrive at that thing, let them do it. Right? And now I will tell you that throughout especially my music journey, I spent a really long time going, okay, I'm a singer and I'm not going to learn anything else. And I'm just going to wait for somebody to discover me. And then they can do all the rest of the work and I'll just sing. It wasn't until I decided to learn how to do music production and to learn how to create background instrumentals and to learn the basics of some of these things that I finally was able to start making progress in that journey. I really had to start learning some of these things I thought I was never going to be capable of doing. So don't hold yourself back because you think that you're incapable of learning, because you are so capable. You're way more capable than you think you are. But what I'm saying is, it's not based in specific categories. You do not suck at tech. I always thought I sucked at tech. You don't suck at tech. That's too specific. What are the patterns in your life that you're really good at, and the patterns of things that you're not so good at? Like organization is a pattern, and like deep diving into specific information is a pattern. What are the patterns? It's not like you are, I don't know, hopefully you understand the nuances here of what I'm talking about. Look at it from a broader scale. All right. Don't be afraid to learn new things and grow. And, there's always personal preference here. Like just because I learned how to do production and I learned how to do some background instrumentals, that really, was a launching point for my music. And it helped me so much to have that basic understanding of how those things work. But now I have somebody who does my instrumentals for me, and it has been life-changing. It's been incredible. And so to have somebody who, that is their zone of genius, doing that with me and being, working in a partnership like that is incredible. But because I have a basic understanding of it, it has really helped me to understand that it is his zone of genius and not his zone of excellence. Hopefully that makes sense. It helps to really have that basic understanding so that you can then be more informed when you are working with other people. So the purpose of this was to talk about how do you do it all? And the answer to that is, well, you can, but you can't do it all at once. So it looks like I've done, it all. I have hundreds of ideas. I have so many ideas, and I have more that are coming. Like I have all these things I want to do, all these things I want to launch, and they're going to happen. And I'm going to wait until they kind of naturally flow out of me, and they will. They're coming. I've got so many fun things up my sleeve that are coming, and I'm really excited. But I'm going to wait until they kind of flow, until the space opens up in my life for them to start happening. And it's probably going to be soon. Like I can feel it. It's coming up soon. But I'm not going to force it. And I'm not going to be upset when all of these ideas don't happen today, because I don't have time today. And I want to enjoy the moment I'm in. And if I'm trying to do 100 ideas today, then I'm not enjoying the moment I'm in. I want to enjoy all of the other ideas that I'm already flowing with, right? Make sure that you're enjoying what is now. Enjoy the now. Enjoy what you've already created for yourself. Don't get caught up in time scarcity, thinking that you will never be able to do those 100 ideas because tomorrow's your last day. It's not. It's probably not, right? You have time. You have expansive existence to pursue all of your dreams. Everything is possible. It's all coming for you. Pull one thread at a time and let it all come in its own divine timing. And it will happen more magically than you ever imagined when you surrender to the right timing. That's what I have found, is that when I just let it unfold, it just suddenly is happening, and I'm amazed at the speed and the way that things just unfold. So I'm looking forward to amazing things in my future and amazing things in yours. Don't be afraid to let go of the things that aren't serving you anymore. That doesn't mean that, I'm letting go of taking care of my kids or taking care of my home or taking care of other responsibilities. There are things that we need to do in our lives, and they are serving us. I'm talking about things that we're clinging to because we think that we need them when we really don't. It takes a lot of introspection and knowing yourself to understand the difference, but it's really, really important. Thank you guys for coming. I love you guys so much. Have a great day, and I hope this helps. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Multi-Passionate Mama Podcast. I know that we can never be told too many times how amazing we are, so in case you haven't been told today, you are a freaking rock star. When you let yourself shine, you allow other people to take off their filters and shine brightly too. It's about time someone gave you permission to be all of you. If you enjoyed this show, please leave me a review and hit that subscribe button. I know you want more of this. Sharing is caring. Let someone you love know how incredible they are by texting them the link to this episode. They will feel so good just knowing that you thought about them. Lastly, if you want to know more about my courses and coaching, be sure to check out my website for up-to-date details on everything I have available. It's caroleegarrison.com, and the link is in the show notes. Always remember that you are a diamond. Don't let anyone dim your sparkle.